Well, hello. It's me, Bill Suddick, coming to you from Suddick Studio, my own very messy studio. I wanted to show you something today about making an armature for the sculpture project that we're going to do. As you can see here, I've already started this guy. He is made of wire. You can see the thickness of the wire there. I used the thinner wire for the legs and arms, but I twisted it, and I don't have my trusty needle nose pliers. They're around somewhere. Anyway, use pliers to twist the wire. Now, see this substance here. This is something called plumber's epoxy. And it's as hard as a rock. I can bang this guy in the head and it won't hurt him. It won't break either, although I did have some trouble with this one. It didn't exactly adhere as well as I wanted, but it's still good. So what I'm going to do, you can see that I've got some of the fingers here that are a little bit too loose. What I want to do is essentially fasten them. So this stuff is really good for doing that. And at the same time, I want to keep the fingers relatively flexible so that I can manipulate them before I actually put the clay on there. You can also see that I've partially wrapped some aluminum foil on this guy, and that is for bulking up the body so I don't have to use so much expensive sculpting. You can also see where I've used some of the thinner wire and I've wrapped it around parts of the body, in this case his neck. You can't see it now, but there's some wrapped around the midsection as well. Now this wire that I've used here is quite strong, and I think I would prefer something a little bit more flexible like the arms, so I can position the poses the way I want them. These are kind of stuck. I mean, I can move it with a pair of pliers, but you know, it's a little difficult to pose once it's done. So the stuff that I want you to get, let's move him, very stable. I want this Odie Fix-It stick. This is also known as plumber's epoxy, but if you give them the name brand, then they will actually get it for you. You can buy this at this stuff. You can see that it's a tube. But what it's got, if I peel this off, is 2 layers. Now you can't, unfortunately, I've kind of left some of the paper on there. It's sticky stuff. I'm going to peel the rest of that off as best I can. You can see that it's a core of a white material. This is like clay. Sorry, the core of a darker material surrounded by an outer coating of white. So what you do with this stuff is simply cut it up. You need a good mat knife for this. So what I want is a small piece, and I'm going to take a look at this guy's hand and see that I need a piece about that big. So what I'm going to do is cut a piece off with my mat knife. And now the fun begins. What you need to do is start, well, good idea to actually peel the plastic off too. Got a plastic coating on it. Start kneading that. Mixing it together until it's got a uniform sort of brownish gray color, much like that. Can you see that? I hope so. Because I don't have a cameraman here, or a camera person as the case may be. So what I'm doing is mixing this up, kneading it in my fingers. I recommend, actually the package recommends you use some kind of rubber gloves, but I'm not. So do as I say, not as I do. So what I'm going to do is get that mixed up nicely. Now you have to do this relatively quickly because it does harden in about 5 to 10 minutes. So let's get this to a consistency where it's going to work. And what I'm going to do is place that. I'm going to try to put it on in bands and wrap it around as best I can. And what I could have done is rolled it, you know what I mean, in a thin strands essentially, and then wrapped it. I wish this guy would stand up. So we need a little bit more here. And do I have enough? I'm not sure. I think I'll wrap a small strand in here. Let's move those fingers a bit. And basically you're trying to mold it around those joints. Stand up, buddy. Come on. Now once I've got that one, I don't want the fingers too far apart. Once this hardens, it's pretty much impossible to squeeze them together. So I want them a proper distance apart. I think that's gonna do it. Now, do I have enough for the other one? Maybe not. I don't know. So, I think that's about right. And you see that? It's looking like a hand. Not too bad. This will be the large thumb here. The rest are the typical 3-finger animation hand. And I think that'll do it. Anyway, once that hardens up, it's going to be as hard as that. Should have had a little hammer in here, but look at that. Hard as a rock. So this will do exactly the same thing. So what I'm going to do is end this video, and I'm going to take this little bit of epoxy out. I have a leak in my tap outside, the fixture cracked. So guess what? I'm going to stick this on there. Thank you very much. I hope this is a good start to our sculpture project and making your armature with good old Odie Fix-It stick. I don't sell these. I don't get a kickback. I wish I did, but have a good night. Thank you.